Okay. Well, today, welcome to the PRB Plus podcast, Park Stories. We are here with Jacob Fedosky, the president of Step and Wash. He's an expert in accessibility, and he's going to talk with us about that, particularly maybe as it relates to restroom design. And he's got an article in the December issue of PRB Plus magazine. So if you want more detail about what's covered here or a little bit more insight, obviously make sure your subscription is up to date. This will go live here in the month of December, and we'll be on Spotify and all the places that you can normally get your podcast. So as well as a video version up on YouTube. So Jacob. Today's Jacob. Jacob, welcome to the podcast. Yeah,
thanks, Rodney.
Steven. Yeah,
thanks, Rodney.
Take it away.
Happy to be here.
Tell us a little bit about accessibility and how that might impact some, public park restrooms.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a timely thing to talk about. The 35th anniversary of the ADA was this past summer, and that was sort of sweeping legislation that required public places to make their facilities accessible to those with physical disabilities. So it's good timing. As it relates to your audience, to sort of the broader park environment, accessibility, it matters, right? It's more than checking a box and making sure that the place that families are coming to visit meets code requirement. Of course, that matters, but it's more about making sure that families can enjoy the spaces that they're meant to be able to enjoy, and that's enjoying them without barrier and without with full access as it's intended.
Yeah. So what's the biggest hurdle sometimes do you think folks have on the park side, park agencies, with meeting the spirit of the law as opposed to the letter of the law, right? Like, there's a lot of ways to skirt the letter of the law. And in all fairness, our audience, the people listening to this, typically go above and beyond. But what are the hurdles that you're going to face if you've never done this before, that you may not know about, or if you have done this before and you haven't found a good solution to, how do you navigate all this?
Yeah, it's really a couple things. One, it always comes down to budget, right? Everybody wants to make their spaces more accessible, but sometimes accessibility upgrades, they cost money. So we'll come back to budget. That's one. But I think what ends up being the biggest hurdle almost is just knowing what to do, right? It's one thing to say, hey, here's what the code says, let's go do it. It's another thing to say, I want everybody that visits this park to have a good experience and be able to use it like we built it. Well, what does that mean? And that's hard. And this isn't just hard for parks leaders. This is hard for the biggest retailers and the biggest restaurants in the nation, in the world. We're all striving to do the same thing. It's hey, how do we make this space better for the people who are going to visit? So, I think if we talk about knowing what to do, there's not a short, like we can't, in the short time we have together, go through a punch list of everything that needs to happen to make a place accessible. But it's really taking a step back. It's talking to folks in your community and looking at who's using your spaces and who's unable to use their spaces, and just over time taking down those barriers when you've got the time, when you've got the budget, when you've got the resources. So that sort of ties back to the budget question. I mean, we talk to leaders every day who say, hey, we want to go do these things, but it costs money. Budgets are tight. I do think that even with good intentions, budget often ends up being what limits folks from kicking off accessibility related projects. What I would tell your audience, though, is that in some research we've done with large retailers, we found that oftentimes these accessibility upgrades can be cost neutral. They can even be cost savings. There was one retailer who we worked with who they installed different color tile leading to their men's urinals, because what they found was that low vision customers, blind customers, had a hard time navigating to the urinal because there was just no color contrast on the floor. Well, the tile ended up being less expensive than what they were using. So that's just one example of a non-ADA required accessibility upgrade that somebody made that ended up saving them money in their new construction and in their remodels. It doesn't always have to be a cost. I just think that's the perception.
Gotcha. So where do you guys fit in? Do you guys help with all of that? Like, why don't you give us a little bit of a 30,000-foot view of how you guys can be a solution provider?
Yeah, so man, we solve a very narrow problem. We make bathroom step stools that get installed into the ground, and so when you think about the importance of hand washing, what this is going to come out in December, right in the middle of sick season. Hopefully, norovirus isn't going nuts like it did last year. But look, hand washing matters. Hand sanitizer doesn't kill all of these bugs. What our product does is it lets children and adults of short stature step up to the sink and wash their hands independently, which is great. It's really great if you're a parent with a physical disability and it's hard or impossible for you to lift up your kid to the sink. That's what we do, man. We make step stools. We help people wash their hands more easily, but we're
Yeah,
really involved in the broader accessibility space, partnering with other manufacturers, other retailers on sort of the advocacy side. So we solve a
right.
narrow problem. We help parks solve a narrow problem, but we're really interested in the other solutions available to
How,
make restrooms better.
so even though it's a narrow problem, how prevalent is it? I mean, you know, is it something that really every restroom should kind of have? Like, I know when you go into elementary schools, for instance, they solve it by lowering the sinks, right?
Yeah.
So like if you use a sixth grade bathroom and you're 6'1", good luck. Maybe,
Yeah,
maybe
you
you
need to
wash
be
your
cut
feet.
out in the
Yeah.
floor.
Yeah, right. Right.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I think it belongs in most restrooms. In the elementary school example you gave, they're purpose built. They've got lowered sinks. In airports are one of our biggest segments, but in many airports nowadays, you see them building lowered sinks in intentionally. Those are a great solution. You're not going to hear me knock a lowered sink. I think when
yeah.
space and budget allows, that's a wonderful way to provide accessible hand washing. But if you're in a facility that's used by adults and by children and you don't want to take one sink out of commission for the adults, we provide a really nice solution that lets everybody use that sink.
Yeah. Great. Awesome. Well, I see the need, I mean, yeah, and it's not even people who necessarily have a traditional challenge, disability, whatever, a lot of words that we try to be kinder about, but even somebody who's pregnant, right? Like
Totally.
having difficulty, you know, you know, getting their child up to the sink or
Yeah.
up to the baby changing station or whatever it is,
Right.
right?
That's
Like
exactly right.
just a little bit of step can go a long way. So, well,
We got a
cool.
message from a mom this week. She's like, "Look, I've got 3 kids. I've got one in the little like baby wearing harness. I've got one in my
Yeah,
arms. Like, I don't have enough hands to lift up my kids to wash their
right,
hands." She's not
right,
disabled. She doesn't identify as being disabled, but she struggles
right.
with it just the same. So
Right,
it is
right.
it's a
Yeah,
real thing. Yeah.
it's just a life thing, right? Like we've
Yeah,
all
that's
been there.
exactly
Yeah,
right.
yeah, great. Well, Jacob, I appreciate it. This has been very informative. So, is there anything, if you were me, that I should have asked you? That you're the expert here. Did I skip over anything that was important, or that you think we should touch on?
Man, I don't think so. I think again, what I'd tell your audience is accessibility doesn't have to be another line item in your budget. With a little bit of pre-planning, you can
Yeah.
make cost neutral adjustments to your facilities
Great.
that make them better for everybody.
Well, and I think too the other message just to add to that for you is, and our audience knows this, right? Like you are the vendors you choose in a lot of cases. Like having good vendors who not only offer up great information but have great products, have additional resources in the space that you just aren't going to be able to be an expert in,
Yeah.
is that's a good thing, right? Like that can make or break a project. That can make it from a budget buster to maybe budget friendly, just through some, hey, we do this all day every day in a variety of industries, and here's some things that we've stumbled upon that you probably will never find out in your career, unless you get lucky, right? So
Right.
here's some knowledge for you, kind of a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's spot on. Your vendors and your peers are a wealth of knowledge.
right. So, well, good. Well, hey, man, have a good rest of your, November, right? We're almost to Thanksgiving, which is
Almost
crazy
made it.
to me. Yeah. So, and we'll see you around there, and we'll look forward to the article there in the December issue. It should be coming out here already in a couple weeks, which is crazy.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Well,
Thanks,
thanks for
Rodney.
your time, man.
Yeah, likewise.
Have a great week.
Thanks so much. You too.
Oh, all righty. Take care.
Bye bye.